once again.
Today in the spotlight we have the all new WinAPEX ET8103 for your cheapo pleasure. This is a nouveau multimeter with a chic boutique style front end that says, turn me on. Nothing I love more than a cheapo multimeter that has a few tricks up its sleeve, and that's one thing the 8103 definitely does. You can see it's missing something that lots of multimeters have. A selector switch. Yes, they've done away with that in favor of a selector button. Yes, this is a rather interesting, I'm going to call it a hybrid style meter because it is automatic, but only to a degree. You still have some manual ranging to do as well. So you will see what I mean in a minute, but yeah, it's still something to love almost as much as pecan pie, which I really, yes, I know I really love pecan pie. I just love it. My wife loves it too. We both love it. Sorry, this is a multimeter review. WinAPEX does a lot of good in the cheapo meter realm. In fact, they have the ET8101, which I love. This is one of my favorite cheapo meters thus far. And let's hope the ET8103 can do. The WinAPEX shipped in a decent little cardboard box. Now on the meter, on the box on the meter, you see the boot is green. Well, it ain't green, folks. It is black. Jet black. Black is good. They do give you two instruction manuals. One is in Chinese and the other is all in English, which is extremely helpful for those of us that don't speak Mandarin, Cantonese, what have you. So yeah, English is preferred, and it's really basically nothing more than a piece of paper, but there you go. Leads themselves are your sort of generic WinAPEX style. I think the WinAPEX leads are a little bit above your standard cheapo style lead. The actual quality is better. You know, it almost feels like silicone. I doubt very much that it is. I'm pretty sure it's PVC, but that being said, it just feels a lot better than your average cheapo Chinese lead. Nice sharp tip, and if we look at the rating, it's a Cat 3, 1000 volts max. Generally speaking, yeah, I like the leads, and they have a fair bit of support on the back end. Nice little shrouding there going on. So generally, you know, quality-wise, I think the leads are pretty good. Now, are they actually going to be any good in terms of continuity? Well, we will soon find out. Now, in all reality, this meter is really a hybrid multimeter. By hybrid, I'm saying that to get to some of the ranges, it's automatic. To get to other ranges, you have to manually invoke via the red push button. For instance, if you want to check your voltage or resistance, just turn the meter on and away you go. You want to check diode or continuity, then you actually have to use the... On the right-hand side here, we have the ET8101, as I said before, one of my most cherished cheapos thus far. I really like this meter. Now, this is not the original boot that it came in. It did ship in a boot, much like you see here. I just kind of like this one, and I put a magnetic little backing on it, and this just came off of another multimeter. Anyway, as you can see, if we take a look at the meters themselves, put them side by side, in terms of the actual display, it is pretty well identical. Even look at those titles, ET8103, ET8101. WinAPEX didn't mess around too much in terms of the naming schemes, so they're leaving things simple. Now, of course, the ET8101 has your typical selector switch, unlike the ET8103. If we go down a notch and we look at those input selectors, yeah, 10 amp common and your basic inputs on the right hand side, nothing has changed as well. If we look at the toggle switches here at the top, we have a slightly different setup, but they are the same, really nice, good quality. In fact, I'd have to say perhaps the 8103 has slightly better quality, tactile feel, what have you. Yeah, so generally speaking, they have kept everything pretty well on par with its younger sibling. Now, in the front of the ET8103, you can see we have our sets of ranges. And starting off here, we have the ohm range. Now, it goes from 0.1 ohms up to 60 mega ohm, followed by capacitance from 10 nanofarad to 60 millifarad. Continuity kicks in, anything under 50 ohm. NCV, also known as non-contact voltage detection. It's on board. Yeah, that's kind of a gimmick and everywhere on these cheapo multimeters today, but what the heck. For volts DC, we go up to 800 volts, and it starts off at around 0.6 volts. On the AC side, we have same thing, 0.6, but a slightly lower high-end range of 600 volts. Finally, on the current, AC/DC from 20 milliamps to 10 amps. And on the diode mode, we have a diode output. It's saying of 3 volts, but we will verify if that's true or not. In terms of inputs, we have 3. We have the common or ground in the middle, followed by the volts, resistance, capacitance diode, and continuity on the right, and the current mode on the left. Now the current mode is the one input jack that shares the input with the milliamp range as well. So the interesting thing with this multimeter is the fact that you're checking low current, you are on that same circuit. So you're going to go from literally 100 milliamps all the way up to say 1 amp without having to change anything. So yeah, we'll test that out shortly as well. Hold down on that power button. Voila! You see we had a little flashing blue LED let us know that we are in business. DC accuracy mode, starting off with the 250 millivolt setting. Spot on. 2.503 volts. We're going to do a side-by-side voltage test, and I've got the ET8101 out for this test. As you can see, the ET8101, the backlight goes off just a little bit quicker than the 103 and the other one. There we go. So yeah, just a tad, maybe 5-10 seconds longer battery backlight on the 103. Now in terms of that actual LCD display, what do you think? I think it's pretty darn close. Oh. Yeah, I really don't see much of a difference at all, if any. Now, because I'm in the studio with some artificial lighting, what have you, sometimes it can play tricks, but really I think they are basically the same. Okay, let's start that voltage test. Powered up and ready for action, sitting at 1.4 volts, and look at that, pretty well spot on. Here we go. Take it up a notch. Let's sit at 3.3 volts on power supply, 3.422 versus 3.424. Yeah, they are neck and neck. Let's go up to 10.5 volts. 10.56 for the 101, 10.57 for the 103. Up and away. Let's take it to a whopping 21 volts even. 21.06 for the 101 and 21.10 for the 103. 4-count difference. And we're going to max it out now at 31.6 volts. 31.71 for the 8101. 31.77 for the 8103. So there you have it. Wow, very, very, very close. You know what? Really too close to call. I'd say they're about even. And you know what? They should be. All right, we're now in milliamp mode. Now the milliamp mode is also the amp mode. So you have this range that is on that same input. So basically we can go all the way from 20 milliamps, where we're sitting at now, up to theoretically 10 amps, since it shares the same circuit. Now I'm going to probably just take it up to about just over 1 amp, and we'll see how well that goes. But yeah, there you have it. So we're going to start off right now with the 20 milliamp setting. Let's take it up. Let's go up to 130 amps, no problems here. Taking it up further, let's go up to 460 amps, showing up as 468. All right, so far so good. Let's go up to 770 milliamps, and yeah, look at that. All right, here we go, approaching the 1 amp mark, 940 milliamps, I'm sorry, and pretty close, 932. And we're gonna hit 1 amp even Steven, and it's coming up just under 1 amp on the Apex. Okay, 1.1 amps according to the power supply. And yeah, it is stuck at 983. Let's see if I can take, oh, you know what? It's probably a voltage thing. Hang on, let me bring up that voltage. And there we go. So 1.1 amps it is. Now I'm on a micro power supply here, so I'm only capable of going up to 1.2 on this particular power supply, and 1.2 amps, no problem. Let's bring it down slowly. So a lot of range, a lot of versatility, and yeah, look at that. Excellent. Capacitance mode is next. Now this has a nice whopping 60 millifarad range. Oh, I just love it when you're in the millifarads like that. So I've got a 47,000 millifarad, I'm sorry, 47,000 microfarad, 47 millifarad cap. And let's see how she does. Okay. And it is thinking. There we go. It's starting to move. Still in the microfarad range. Remember, this is 47 millifarad. Come on, baby. Now we're in the millifarad range. So definitely it does take some time. And there we go, 42.70 millifarad. Pretty well. It should be automatic because, as you can see here, if we want to get out of different molds, for instance, diode, continuity, and capacitance, then we actually have to utilize that red button. In this case, it should be automatic. Here we go. 22.5 megohms, spot on. 0.5 ohm resistor. Pretty close. Now, because the threshold is so low for the continuity, that buzzer does kick in, so that's a little bit of a pain. Let's see if we have to rel out the leads at all. No, no resistance on those leads, so everything looks good. LED is next. We've had some not so good showings as of late. Let's see if the 8103 can do a little bit better. We are going to start off in LED mode, preferably. And here we go. Starting off with the green LED. And we do have illumination in the nation with that forward voltage drop. Yellow LED, no problems there. Over to the red. Looking good. Over to the blue. Yes. Will we have 5 for 5? Survey says. Yeah, we do. So it's a spot on for the LED testing mode. Now my leads are just touching each other there. But yeah, look at that. Spot on. Excellent. Wow. 5 out of 5 on the diode. Good stuff. Now, I do get reminded every now and then that I should also do a regular diode test. So let's just do that quickly. And no problems there. The output voltage in diode mode is a little bit better than the 3 volts claimed. It's actually 3.3 volts. Good stuff. Next up is continuity mode. I have switched it to the continuity setting. Here we go. Default stock probes. We have that nice visual indicator as well. Latched and loud, just like my mother-in-law. Oh, awesome. Probe masters, here we go. Wow, latched and loud. Beauty. Beauty, beauty. So for continuity, pretty good all around. .2 decibels is the loudest. Now, to get into NCV mode, we have to simply hit that NCV button. And boom, we are in. And as you can see, ain't nothing happening. Why? Because we actually have to hold down on that NCV button. Okay, holding down on the NCV button. Wow. Anybody home? So very, very crappy non-contact voltage. In fact, yeah. Here we are on the inside of the ET8103, and as you can see, not too much going on, at least not on this side. For the reverse side of the chassis, no shielding whatsoever. Pretty plain Jane. That's our connectors for the 3-volt battery. Over here we have the display, one solid rubber button, which actually I kind of like that idea. So one piece there for all of the toggle buttons. This is just a ladder-like little assembly here that helps keep that LCD display in. On the top side here, we have the input jacks to start off with. They are of the split variety. Now, soldering is not so good, and look at that current shunt. They've actually missed a blob. Yeah, we got all sorts of interesting crap going on here. These are the pads for the batteries. That is our 10 amp current fuse, the speaker, and an electrolytic cap. And that is also attached to the LCD display. There's the LED for the flashlight. But yeah, not so impressive on this side. Let's flip it around to the B side. And here things get a little more interesting. Now, let's start at the bottom here. These are the jack inputs again. And look, they have completely negated the solder from those input jacks. So yeah, really sloppy soldering here. Not impressed. And what the hell is that? I mean, it's like some... You see that? Like, what the heck is that? It's some sort of solder goop. Okay. So somebody's left their little solder blob when they were trying to solder. Anyway, not too impressive. That's our tiny little current shunt. And let's move down the line here. These are AQV259As. Now that's rather interesting, because those are a little on the expensive side. Those are Panasonic solid state relays, probably being utilized for isolation. But yeah, they're actually a little on the expensive side in terms of SMD components. So, well, good to see those there. Now, this is a funky cold Medina. Here we have something that says GVR 1000 volt. There's nothing there. So, what the hell is going on? We have a rectifier diode over here. And once again, that is on that current side of things as well. Let me just back it out a little bit here for you. That's the push button pads for the selector switches. And there's the cobbed IC. And here we've got the EEPROM for the main IC that is storing all of the data. And yeah, that's a little 8-pin dip. And I believe that has 8K of EEPROM available. Now, they also call these floating gate transistors, but yeah, 24C08N EEPROM. One PTC, a 5B DMZ on the voltage side. Did somebody forget the crystal oscillator? Where's the crystal oscillator? CRY2, 4 megahertz. But it's empty. Now, the NCV really sucked on this multimeter, and I can see why. Yeah. Where is it? I mean, if it's embedded into the PCB, that's pretty lame. So, oh, God. Yeah, not impressive. Not impressive. Fab date, December 6th, 2018. Version 6. Just thank God I didn't get a version 1. Oh. Main IC right over here is the Hycon 64-pin HY12P65 specialized DMM IC. Finally, over here we have the slight solder pin that is holding the backlight, and that is pretty well all she wrote. So interesting, I must say, but not in a good way. I'm gonna put this package back together and come back with, you got it, my closing thoughts. Closing thoughts on the WinAPEX ET8103. Wow, you know, it's a really, it's a funny meter to gauge. It's this hybrid functionality, you know, sometimes it's automatic, sometimes it's not. It just doesn't really seem to know what it wants to be. Now, that being said, performance-wise, it did pretty good. It lit up all those LEDs, and generally speaking, it was fairly fast to read. The internals, they were damn near ugly. Really bad soldering, sloppy board assembly, generally speaking, it really bites the big one. At the end of the day, if I'm going to give them any kudos, it will definitely be for thinking out of the box. They've come up with a design that's different, and you know, even though it is that hybrid mentality, it still basically works. And let's not forget about that milliamp range. Kind of cool to really have no threshold when you are doing your milliamp testing. I'm going to give the WinAPEX ET8103 a solid 3 out of 5 stars. Come on, WinAPEX, you got to clean up the inside. Do a better soldering job. Put your money where your mouth is. Yes. Other than that, this is a pretty solid little meter. Although for me, it does not take over from the 8101. It's still my favorite. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this one. Till the next time, you got it. Keep on testing.